we'll have this discussion.
Discussion? What discussion?
This is a discussion.
Combustion.
Coming to you from Denver, Colorado. This is Discussion Combustion Podcast with your hosts, Kevin Batstone and Arthur Raw.
I don't care. Hey, my editor does not like. Well, he probably likes me because he likes to make fun of me. But
your editor?
Well, our producer.
Oh, okay.
For the show. Yeah, he likes to make fun of me.
You know, I make fun of Art all the time. He makes fun of me. It's just part of the.
It is part of the process.
It has to happen.
You have to have the razzing.
I just think it makes business more fun, right?
Well, I mean, look, if you can, if you could joke around with your buddies and stuff, and not always take things too seriously, because that way you can be honest with somebody and get a point across, but like you're not hurting feelings.
You're not hurting feelings at all.
Yeah, you're kind of having fun.
That is a lesson I've learned, since April.
Yeah, I mean,
what is that exactly?
Yeah, and you kind of have to have thick skin too. I mean, because especially with what him and I do, starting this LLC and producing other shows and having creative ideas, like naturally you're going to bump heads at times.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
You're not going to get along every time.
Oh yeah, no, there's plenty of
disagree.
When it's a 50-50 split, like there's no third party here.
Yeah.
So if like we don't agree on it, then I guess it's a no-go. But then it's a win for whoever didn't want it to go.
I have a higher conversion rate. So
he likes to say, he would like to say.
Yeah,
of course you would say that.
See, yeah, exactly.
Here it starts.
Like this. And luckily we have the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
But for the most part, we haven't had to do that too many times.
Yeah, that's good, man. I mean, as long as you're having a good time with it and everything. And
we're just starting though.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, coming out of the gate. I mean, well, so I want to talk about how you even ended up on this show. So I got a call from Kelly Ryan, who you know.
I met very briefly and have seen a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah. So she called me and was like, I have somebody for the show. And so what's cool about how this all ties together. So Kelly is with Jamie Rorick, who has been on the show 5 times.
I met him the other day.
This show started in his basement.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that basement that you see on that picture, that's his basement. So like it's crazy how it all comes full circle. You just never knew who you're going to bump into.
And I wasn't looking for that. And, I told her I was starting a podcast and I just got done with the trail. And she was like, ooh. Yeah. And I was like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, look, we were talking about this prior to hitting record, but we're kind of mid-conversation. We're picking up here. So we got Sean Kelly in the building tonight. Such an honor to have you in. First of all, thank you for your service, man. I know Veterans Day just passed recently.
Yeah.
So thank you for all that. Definitely, we have a lot of friends and support so much.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
So
Thank
that goes without saying. And also, avid hiker, new fellow podcaster in the local scene. So you're doing things, man. It's good to have you on.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. Absolutely. This is, the first time, so it's awesome. It's really cool.
It's cool. It's cool about just podcasters in general and just people doing cool things is new experiences, learning things, right? Like I'm sure I'm going to learn a lot about the hiking and then some of the adventures that go into that. Like I
already have questions.
I have questions.
Awesome.
And I'm curious to dive into as well as what this podcast is, what you like, kind of what your goal is with it, where you guys want to take it.
It's just a passion project to kind of keep us connected with the trail community, starting with the class of 2023 of the Appalachian Trail, and keeping in contact with them, getting their stories out. If maybe if they need a job, someone will hear it and hook them up, or if people need help, they help them out. But it's more of getting the real story of the trail and keeping that, positive and motivating and, sometimes sad, sometimes happy.
Yeah, keeping it authentic.
Keeping it authentic. Taking off the varnish that's been put on what is through hiking, which is, a scenic trail. You do it from point A to point B within 12 months. I just got off the Appalachian Trail, so
it's incredible.
How many months did you go on this?
Exactly 6 months.
Okay.
181 days.
So did you go about half then? Would you say?
No, I did all but 100 and maybe 20 miles.
Okay.
Right now, so I have another 100 miles I got to go make up.
Okay.
But
early spring.
And there's fires going on, like you were saying.
Yeah.
So that's not. And so the trail. Tell me again the exact length of the trail, start to finish.
It's 2,198.4. That was this year. It jumped up like 4 miles from last year, but with reroutes of the trail due to either environmental issues or trail maintenance or some stuff like that.
That's pretty amazing. So I mean, essentially, what's the target per day mileage?
It if you do 180 days, it's an average of like 13 miles ish
A day.
A day?
a day.
Still, that's pretty substantial. I mean, I would call myself an avid walker. I do
Yeah.
about 3.3 most days.
That's a lot.
And then on days off, I'll do like 6 because, I have more time to dedicate to that. So 6 miles, and then like you're around the day, like still doubling that, and you're carrying stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not just your calisthenics, you're moving stuff too.
Right.
It's movement.
Yeah, so that seems like it'd be exhausting.
It is every day.
And you said people are like partying, drinking and stuff.
oh
like
yeah.
Yeah, see, I couldn't believe that when you mentioned that.
Well, I mean, you got to make fun of it along the way and have a good time with it. So,
Yeah.
But my question is, so the terrain obviously changes. There's elevation changes.
Yes.
They have weather that comes in there. So if you guys, if there's partying going on, how do you restock on supplies? Is there shops? Do you stop into towns?
On average, you cross a road every 4 miles.
Oh, okay.
On the Appalachian Trail, there's sections where you don't go cross roads for 20 miles, 30 miles, but then almost 100 miles at certain points. But there's always an option to get off and go into a town. It might just cost you more.
Yeah.
And things are getting more and more expensive. So that's a big thing.
And those
for
local
the
shops
trail.
probably know that.
Oh, they do.
They know that the hikers are coming in to replenish and refuel.
Some of them, they call them trail towns. I mean,
trail town?
That's a huge influx of cash. From about 3,000 people start every year on the Appalachian Trail. About a quarter finish. So
25% go the distance.
5% go the distance. About.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess that seems about probably right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to be an easy thing to do. I mean, you have to be able to have that time, first of all.
Yeah.
Like, be able to have the lifestyle to even do something like that.
Or completely choose to change your whole lifestyle.
Yeah. Well, and one thing that I thought you said was interesting prior to us hitting this button as well is you had mentioned it seems like that's where you're meeting real people is out on the trail, out in nature, right?
Out in nature.
And of course, people, when they're out in nature, like that is all that's natural, right? It's not artificial, like a concrete jungle that we live in. For the most part, a lot of human beings. And so you're seeing, like, being back in society was similar to being in the Matrix. And in one way, I had one thing that I wanted to kind of add to that, which would be that I can agree because, and I mentioned this to you on the phone today too, Kev, was how people are doing things that they don't want to do in order to get paid and then just look forward to a quick weekend. They're not enjoying their time with life. Like, they're not doing things that are actually fulfilling. And so they're kind of just plugged into this routine that is just it's not helping them. And then so actually leaving and going out into nature and like doing these kind of things it's actually like probably a more natural state too.
It is. And I mean, out there, at first you come out as who you were. You start the trail as who you are today. And at first we start out doing about 8 miles a day. That's a smart way to do it. You just build your what we call trail legs up. Just getting those legs used to walking every day. And it takes a few months, takes a couple months, and then once you're rocking it, you're rocking it. But, at first, like we talked about mileage, like you start out really slow, and then in the mid-Atlantic states are decently flat. So you pick up a lot of miles there. And then the last 3 states are just the most magical places you'll ever be.
Is it like the roughest terrain too?
It's the hardest shit you'll ever do.
The roughest and most beautiful?
It is. It was more dangerous than anything I did in the Army, probably.
Really?
But it was the best time of my life.
So I grew up in Wolfboro, New Hampshire. I know the trail runs through part of my home state. I think it's...
Oh, New Hampshire is that's the Whites.
That's right. Yeah,
that's the presidential range. That's a magical place there.
Yeah, it's beautiful up there, man. I never did touch the trail, but I remember people talking about it. Like, yep, they're coming through. The hikers are coming through.
It is actually like it. Some towns rely on that.
Yeah.
There's a Conservancy that's in charge of the Appalachian Trail. A lot of thru hikers aren't fans of them. A lot of controversy there, but they're the ones who dictate the route and stuff like that. And sometimes they take them away from towns.
Yeah.
And it kills the town.
Kills the business for the town, yeah.
It kills the town. You have definitely down south, you got 3,000 people coming through over a 5-month span.
So how big was your group, like your party?
Oh.
Like 30
Jeez.
people or something?
Oh, on the pirate ship, yeah, about 30 people.
On the
Y'all
pirate ship?
to the pirate ship is what it.
So, I mean, you got what they call tramleys or trail families, and
Tramleys?
Tramleys.
Okay.
And you'll go through. I went through about 5 or 6 tramleys before I figured out who I was gonna be summiting with, and you still don't know until the day of, because you'll see people.
Things change.
Yeah, things change constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Actually summited with 2 people, I think, that started on the same day as me.
Oh wow!
Out of a random.
So is that like another kind of friendship or bond that you have with those people? Because you're like, we started this together.
Yeah, it's one of the best camaraderies I've had since the military.
Really?
If not better.
Okay.
Definitely less toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that because everyone's there for the right reason, trying to obtain the same goal, of course, and you're in nature.
Exactly, and nature is where you can reset. And that's where I found my reset with who I am now.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a 6-month transition of finding myself again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got dark for a while.
So, do you mind?
Go ahead, Art.
Okay. So I was gonna ask, if you don't mind, what would be a couple of the core elements that you acknowledged in yourself, that you had personal growth on, or like eliminated, or something like that? Just a little more
on the trail.
Well, just in general, because you said people change from going on the trail until So on the trail, how did that influence you?
I mean, when I started out, I went out there wanting to fix something. I didn't like myself. Didn't like the person I was seeing every day.
Mm-hmm.
I was 204 pounds. Big bag, tough guy, whatever. But it was. I didn't like who I was looking at. Didn't like how much I'd been drinking. Didn't like how much I'd just been sitting on my ass for years. Realized that I needed to make a change, and that's when I started backpacking, period.
Okay.
And that realized, after my trips, I realized I was so much happier. Like, stuff just was so much easier to handle with, well, that's not that big of a deal. That's a tomorrow problem. Or, hey, this needs to be taken care of, but let's, maybe make a plan first. And it made me less reactionary, but it's like that circadian rhythm reset of laying on the ground every night when the sun goes down, because it's time to go to bed, because you're waking up when the sun comes back up. And that's what I found on trail. I started out trying to be a better husband, trying to be a better father, and I think I became that and then more. That was those little fixes start coming out, to get the main goal, but then you have this other sub thing, the issues you've had that you've never wanted to touch, and you've been afraid to touch. Well, they're coming out.
Oh yeah.
That trail will bring it out of you.
Yeah.
You'll be walking and just start crying.
Digging deep.
Dig deep. I mean, so it's like those superficial things. I went out there thinking I need to do this. I need to make people see me as this. That went out the window. Everything changes from day to day. All the millions of micro decisions you make on trail every day. You're exhausted.
Yeah, I'm sure the first couple weeks have to be the most challenging, right? Because you're setting in, you're excited. Yeah. But then the physical, like you said, took a couple months to get the trail legs, I think you called it.
Yeah,
right. So that's repetition is the mother of skill, of course. But I'm sure there's times where you're like, man, this is brutal.
Yeah, I mean, Easter Sunday. Yeah, so Blood Mountain is the first big achievement on the AT. It's only 32 miles into the trail, and they say about a quarter of people quit there.
That's it, huh?
A quarter of the people quit right there.
They're like, look, that was awesome. What a beautiful. Done. But like you said, the very end, if you go south to north, right?
Yeah, you go south to north, but there are people who do north to south.
Yeah,
they're called Sobos. For southbounders, and then we're called Nobos for being northbounders.
Okay.
There's other variations called flip-floppers who they'll either go up and start in Maine, or they'll start in Georgia and then jump up to Maine and walk back down. That type of thing. It goes into a whole subset of
bunch of different ways to do it.
But Sobo is the hard way.
Sobo is the hard way.
Yeah,
so from
my opinion.
Southbound. So where's the trail start, south to north?
It starts in Springer Mountain, Georgia, and Amicalola Falls State Park.
That's
just north
the trailhead.
Just north of Georgia. Or north of Atlanta.
North of Atlanta, okay. I knew it was somewhere in that area. I just couldn't remember. Because then it goes up. Doesn't it kind of go up through the Smoky Mountains? And
it goes through the Smokies.
Yeah.
Smokies this year were rough.
Were they?
Yeah.
Was it just weather, terrain?
Weather.
Yeah.
Weather. And
then,
Yeah, it was a rough time.
Were you guys out
if
there
your
in
feet get wet, like,
Right.
right?
You're gonna get wet.
Yeah, it sucks, right?
Just
like
walk.
once your feet are soaked,
You
you're
gotta-
like shit.
Well, like, I
Suck it
mean,
up.
at the beginning, yeah. I mean, you're wearing the proper. If you're wearing the proper socks, don't wear
Yeah.
cotton. Don't wear cotton out in the woods ever.
No.
Does it get like boot rot or
No,
whatever?
cotton kills. As soon as it gets wet, it loses all its warming properties.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So they don't wear cotton. Is down synthetic, whatever is fine, but don't wear cotton.
So what do you recommend, like, because I'd probably, well, I don't know, I'd probably want to wear my boots on this trail. Probably wouldn't be a great idea.
No, but people do it. People do stupid shit out there.
Yeah. That would be me. I'd be like, look at this fucking
I carried
guy.
a sword for 1,400 miles. A foam sword for 1,400 miles.
I mean, look, you probably had your reasons, and
it's
probably
a hell of
worth
a story, but yeah.
That's funny, man.
It started from day 2.
That's
it
funny.
went all the way to Katahdin. Actually summited with
the foam sword.
Well, yeah.
That's fantastic.
No. My friend actually carried it up because it was the reason I was carrying one because she carried one too.
Okay, no, that's fun. That's fun.
Yeah.
We're going the distance. This thing's coming the way.
This is a good story. It is all. I mean, we can definitely tell it here in a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
That
I
would
definitely
just
wanna hear
be a
it.
complete rabbit hole.
Well, was it? Wait, aren't we already in a rabbit hole?
We are in a rabbit hole. Where were we?
I think that wasn't the first question. Like,
Oh, the towns.
yeah, no. Kev asked about like the pod that you're
Oh
starting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which kind of dives into some of this, right?
Yeah. It dives into
yeah.
all
So,
this.
so this was actually a sneak peek on the pod.
Of kind of behind the
Hey,
scenes.
A
this
little
is
bit.
a learning sesh for me on how to interview people, so that's pretty cool.
Oh well, see, here at Discussion Combustion, we just bring it back to a natural conversation, man. And cheers. Yeah,
Cheers.
It's good to have you in, man. Good to have you in.
I'm not going to do that whole team drink thing, but
Maybe
at
yeah,
the
that
end.
was fun.
Team
That was fun.
Team drink. That was pretty funny.
ridiculous.
we'll have to do that at the end.
That was ridiculous.
Hell of an artist.
Oh man, he was fun. We partied with him a little bit after the show, which was cool. Which is what I love doing this. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Oh
'Cause
yeah,
we're-
no, just classic conversations, man. You just keep it authentic, get to know people, be a genuine human being.
yeah, that's what it is.
That's overall just what you gotta do.
That's it.
Well,
I
and
mean,
I'm a very curious person. Like I'm curious to know. Like I still have so many more questions about the trail and what goes on. Like I want to know like what the nightlife looks like. So you talked about that a little bit. Like what the shower scene looks like. Like where you where you do your business.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
that's
man,
like where my
okay.
mind goes.
So-
Yeah, that's the good question.
which one do you want to talk about first?
Let's start with the night scene. Let's start
the
there.
night scene.
when the
Well,
sun
I mean,
goes down.
That was
man,
good. That was good.
At the beginning, I mean, you start at Springer Mountain. Most people do the approach trail from Amicaloa Falls up to Springer Mountain, which is like 8 miles, and it's the hardest fucking 8 miles of the trail.
Is it?
I mean, you're just starting out. It was the worst. Like no water. It was hot. Like you're carrying 30 pounds on your back. Way too much weight because you're brand new.
Yeah.
And
overpacked for the hike.
Overpacked. I saw some things.
People are like, screwing them. They're like, I screwed myself. I don't need this. Don't need that.
Saw a dude with an military entrenching tool. It's like 3 pounds.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, yep, I'm carrying this. I'm like, see how far that lasts before that ends up in a hiker box.
Yeah.
But where were we?
Oh, nightlife.
Nightlife. I mean, sometimes, at the beginning it wasn't much because you're getting in, you're starting a fire. We were getting in like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
Like we were thinking, oh, that was a hard day.
Is there like poop stations then?
I mean, there's
like,
privies. They have what's called privies, or like outhouses, or like,
privies.
Poop station?
I mean,
I've never heard.
Yeah, they're manned. You get your cologne sprayed on as you're walking out.
poop
It's like
station.
New York. It's the
love
best
it.
service other than New York City.
I'm gonna forever now call it a poop station when I go to like outhouses and stuff. Do you guys have a poop station?
I'm gonna submit that for a change on
Hey.
the AT.
No, I mean, hey, what else? Because you could pee
So-
basically anywhere, right?
Yeah, I mean,
You're
supposed there's
I mean-
no trace policies where you're not supposed to pee within a certain distance of a stream or
It could
water
pollute.
source. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't want to be filtering my water with
Piss in
your
it?
piss in it.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Or your shit in it.
Fair.
Yeah.
There's distances, and you can find that on the Leave No Trace website.
Yeah.
I don't remember them. I mean, to memorize them just
Yeah, you
became
just knew it
repetition.
intuitively.
Yeah,
you were just always keeping that distance.
I'm good. Okay, I'm this far away
Yeah.
from water. I'm good.
Yes.
You knew.
Most of us carry trowels.
Okay.
Like 6-inch metal trowel, titanium trowels. You got to dig down 6 inches. That's the length of it.
Okay.
Do your duty and
Bury it.
bury it and put an X over it or stick a stick in it so no one else digs up your buried treasure, and move on.
Wow, so those are like landmines out there.
Oh, in Tennessee, they don't have privies. Tennessee doesn't have privies, so yeah, they're definitely surface shitters.
So it's surface shitters.
People who are really lazy and don't want to dig up.
Like, I'm just gonna shit right here.
I've stepped in shit 3 or 4 times in Tennessee.
Surface shitters. They don't dig the hole.
They don't dig the hole. They just shit and just throw the toilet paper on top. Fuck you. Whoever you are.
Not something I never thought I'd hear on this podcast. Is I stepped in some shit in Tennessee.
Yeah, you know what?
Shit.
Just wipe it off.
Kick some dirt on it.
You're gonna cross the stream eventually. Just wash it off.
Oh gosh.
Oh, but I mean, going back to the we'll go back to the feet wet thing later.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean,
there's
we're
poop stations.
a lot.
There's poop stations about every 8 miles through that. 8 miles through the beginning. Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee. They're about 8 miles apart. They have shelters, campsites around there. Just kind of regulate flow.
And do most people? And sorry, but I'm not trying to cut you short there. Are most people doing like sleeping? Like tents, I mean?
Most tents. There's
tents?
some hammocks. There's some people we call shelter dwellers. They don't carry shelters. They don't carry a personal shelter with them.
Okay.
They just run shelter to shelter, or they go into a hostel or a hotel, or they just cowboy camp and risk it with the weather.
Build like a lean-to or something.
Not they ain't taking. We're not taking the energy to build a lean-to.
They're just like
to us. That's like not. It's against leave no trace. Like just. Get to the shelter.
Yeah.
If you decide not to carry one, you better hike faster.
And there's enough for each night. You could find a shelter each night.
I mean, I never had an issue finding a place to sleep, honestly.
Yeah.
That's
interesting.
That's what I was wondering. Because like, I'll picture you guys like sleeping out in the elements. It's raining.
Oh, yeah. It's bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I've slept on some really crooked fucking spots, but I never had, I had a place to fucking sleep.
Yeah, that's good.
So that, for that part, I mean, mostly tents. Ultralight tents are all the thing now. They're so fucking expensive, though.
The ultralight tents?
Oh yeah, they're
let me guess.
$700.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say $1,200.
Oh no, not that much. Not yet.
I was going up there.
Like a one-person tent?
No, this is a 2-person tent.
Okay.
Most of us, I carried a 2-person tent personally because I had room for my gear.
Oh, that makes sense.
I could at least get everything in. Animals won't get to it. I never had one mouse or anything. I've seen people's
shit all
tore up, ramsacked,
eaten through just to get to something. I'm like, I don't know what you're doing, but I haven't had that issue yet.
Yeah,
that's good.
So I got lucky there.
No attracting critters.
No critters.
Yeah, that's good.
Other than a really angry deer.
Deer?
Really?
Well, no, really annoying deer in the Shenandoahs. Yeah.
What did the deer do?
Just come around middle of the night. Sounds way bigger than it really is. And it's just eating grass around the tents. And this campsite was known for this, and we stayed there for that reason.
And then it's freaking everybody out.
And I just jumped out with the sword and scared it off.
The foam sword?
Yeah,
foam sword.
It lit up blue.
So this thing came in handy more than just...
More than it was. It was. I never had a bear come around my camp when I had the sword, so obviously it was a bear deterrent.
Yeah.
They just knew. They just knew Kenny Powers was around.
Kenny Powers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the sword is now. Where is the sword?
Kenny Powers. That's a good question. Where is the sword?
I don't know.
It's probably in a stone somewhere.
It might be. It might be.
That would have been cool to bring.
Go find it.
The scavenger hunt.
Yeah, it's sort of scavenger hunt.
It's like we start hashtagging find the sword in the Appalachians.
Yeah, find the sword, find the foam sword.
Hashtag
one of us has it, or I threw it away. One of the two.
Yeah.
How big was it? Like
it was just a foam sword from Walmart.
Yeah.
One was generic ones. My friend, the big boy, she's about 5'3", 23 years old, but she's the big boy.
The big boy.
Shout out. She bought a sword from Dollar General and it was the green and yellow.
Okay.
And then I saw that she had one. And I've been trying to change her trail name to put the big boy instead of big boy. Because that's what she told me she wanted her trail name to be. So it's like a giant game of D&D at this point. Like only in my head.
Okay.
So I went and bought a foam sword from Walmart and it just happened to be the opposite color.
Nice.
Worked out perfect.
Yeah, it worked out perfect. I had a duel,
Oh, you got to do the duel.
And I presented her the sword at Katahdin, where Mount Katahdin at Baxter State Park in Maine, where the trail ends.
That's excellent.
So yeah, that's the overview of the big boy story.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. And so, and then everyone has a trail name, and I'm assuming yours obviously is Kenny Powers.
It is Kenny Powers.
Kenny fucking Powers.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You're fucking in. You're fucking out. I'm fucking in.
So that came from I had started the trail with a mullet. I had a mullet in my past life, and I went as Kenny Powers for a Halloween costume. I showed up on trail, and the guys I was hanging out with were like, "Yo, what's up, Kenny?" I'm like, "Yo, guys, I got to tell you something." After a few times being called Kenny, I was like, "Oh, I went as Kenny Powers for Halloween." I was like, "Well, that is it.
It fits you well.
It fits you, yes."
Yeah.
And I think it helped me get away with a little bit of shenanigans in the nightlife.
Okay.
They're like, "Oh, that's just Kenny Powers."
I mean, at the beginning, everybody's getting in, getting set up, going to bed, eating, going to bed, or maybe hanging around the fire for a bit. But once you get toward the end, you're.
I mean, it's business. I mean, this is business and workout on this trail.
At the beginning,
right?
It's 100% just the finishing the challenge.
So near the end, it's less business. You would say, like, it starts to become.
I think about a quarter of the way through, you realize it's not. This is a journey. This isn't.
Because, like you said, you fundamentally kind of changed on this journey.
100% fundamentally changed. Saw that a lot of the views I had were just fucked.
Oh, like your personal
stances? My personal stances, the way I saw people, the way I judged people. My first lesson to myself was like, I'm going to stop judging people. And it didn't take long. Just after I was like, I'm done judging people, for my brain to go, okay, you're done.
Wow. And
you just start accepting people, talking to everyone. I love to talk to people.
Yeah.
So it's like that's one of my gifts. Is like I want to make someone smile.
Sure.
There's been days where no one ever tried to make me smile, and it fucking sucks. So it's like I want to make somebody smile every day.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you've already got some laughs out of the two of us. So it's been good, man.
Yeah,
great energy.
It is a great thing.
So, I mean, 6 months. That's a long time.
It is.
It's a half a year to be on this journey. I mean, this isn't like some 7 to 14, 21 day adventure. This is a huge commitment.
It is, and I was one of those people that I was ready to explode my life, and I was done doing what I was doing. Didn't quite know where it would lead me. I thought it would lead me back to Missouri, where I'm from, and it didn't. But also, me 6 months ago, if this would have happened to me, what happened halfway through, if that would have happened to me 3 months prior, I would have been in prison.
Really?
Oh yeah, I would have done some horrible things.
Wow.
And to be able to be on trail and around the people that I knew cared, like truly people who cared, and for what reason? Just because they wanted to. You can walk away from anybody at any time, and they chose to be there. So that really showed me something. That was, halfway through was a big turning point. That's Harpers Ferry, which is like not the physical halfway point, but the spiritual halfway point, they call it.
Okay.
Because it used to be the original halfway point.
So kind of like the 90-day marker-ish?
Yeah, about that. A little bit after July 4th.
Okay.
So yeah, I was, and that's really when my trail began. Like at the first, it was just like the challenge of it. It's like, just get done, get back home, get done, get back home. And then it was like, whoa, there is no home to go home to.
There's something else going on out here.
Yeah,
that's what you find out.
There is nothing else to go home to.
So really, I feel like what it kind of derives this motivation to change, I suppose we could say, is because you're in the now, like you've mentioned it. You had to make quick decisions. You're dealing with the weather. Life is around you in abundance, and it's just surrounding you. And so it's like you almost, when you disconnect from society, because it's almost like going off the grid in a certain sense too.
Yeah.
Right? So you're really like disconnecting and like kind of refining yourself.
Oh, absolutely. You're taking yourself out of society. You're taking yourself out of the rabbit or the...
I mean, that seems intimidating to me, just thinking about doing that. Like,
it was intimidating.
Yeah.
It was, absolutely. Like, just getting to Springer Mountain was, okay, well, fuck. I'm really doing this.
And that was a 32-mile mark you were saying?
No, at Springer's the beginning. So it was like after the approach trail, I was like, okay, well, here it begins. Like, I wanted to be there on my birthday. I was there on my birthday.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, well, that's the first step.
Yep.
And it was like, I felt like I had imposter syndrome. Like, I don't belong here.
Wow.
Like, I'm not this person. Like, what is it going on? Like, I don't fit it. Like, I fit in, but it's like, why do these people... You start questioning, why do these people hanging with me. Like, I'm not that cool. But then you realize, you are that fucking cool. You should start fucking loving yourself.
Yes.
And that, Virginia was about when that hit. With, that's Virginia's. Damascus, Virginia is what they call Trail Town, USA. That's where they have the big, our big festival every year at the end of May called Trail Days, and everyone kind of meets up there, past, present, through hikers, all that, future, whatever. But at that point is when you're like, okay, well, shit, now I know what hiker trash is. We adoringly call ourselves hiker trash because we stink.
Okay.
We consume mass amounts of food that no one should be eating in mass amounts.
Because you're burning calories all day long.
Trying to search for calories. So you're
just processed foods and
anything.
Beef jerky.
Anything.
Yep.
If you could give me a bowl of spinach uncooked and I would have ate it.
Yeah.
So it's like, hiker trash is our endearing term. It's never like people just, why are you calling them trash? I'm like,
you're like, no,
we
it's
like it. Like I paint my fingernails. I stink. I don't shower for 12 days at a time while I'm walking through these woods. It's an endearing term. So it's like you get that and you're like, oh shit, that's what this was about. This isn't about, to me at least, that's how I saw it.
Yeah.
It was that, okay, bet there's some really cool people here. It isn't just this year's people that are just cool. It's every year. The bad people weed themselves out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or you just don't be around them.
Yep, they kind of fall off the pirate ship.
We would kick you off the pirate ship. But so it's just I forgot where I was going there. But
no, you're good, man.
In a way, it's like when I realized that this trail is something else other than just the challenge of it.
Yeah,
it seems intense. I mean, we're just getting a taste of the journey. I'm picturing, because you said like 12 days sometimes without a shower.
Some people, I think I went like maybe 7-8 days max. I mean, you're in town every couple days. You can always find a shower.
Yeah, there's always an opportunity. Because I'd worry about like, ball rot and like swass, swamp ass.
Plenty of streams if you need it.
Just kind of rinse off.
Just rinse off.
Throw a little Vaseline on there or something.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd jump in a river.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Would you use Vaseline?
No, we use Body Glide.
Body Glide?
What's
Body Glide? It's a little stick.
Wait, why did you have that face when you said Body Glide?
Because not Vaseline. But, no, I've seen people do some weird shit with Vaseline on trail.
Okay.
Someone was putting on their feet.
Look,
on their feet?
Yeah, like to help. I don't know. They had some blister issues, evidently.
I don't think Vaseline's the move for that.
That's not how I would treat a blister from what I learned in the military, but to each their own.
That just seems like it would be squishy and kind of difficult to keep your footing.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Body Glide.
Body Glide. Yeah, it's a little deodorant stick.
Interesting.
And you just rub that on the areas that are getting raw.
Yeah. And you find out what equipment or what shorts to wear that you don't have chafing. Hence where I wore those real short shorts. And at first I had the men's that were like, I think 3.5 inch, and I was just determined that they were falling off me because I had lost at that point 30 pounds, 25 pounds.
So that's how much you lost on this hike.
From start to finish, I was at 204 when I started. When I weighed in Millinocket, I was at 170.
Damn.
Okay. Yeah, that's a big
172, something like that.
Wow.
So, I bought a new pair of shorts, and of course I had to just go shorter because I needed them tan lines.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
better tan lines.
I mean, those are some strong legs over there.
These are national treasures, according to
some
of my friends.
And those are some nice shoes too. What you rocking over there, man?
The Topos.
Yeah, let's take a look at
that. Got the Topo Terraventure 4s now.
And those is what you had on the trail, huh?
I started out with a pair of Solomons, but then I went to Topos.
Yeah.
And I just never went back to Topo. I never went back to anything else.
So did you have just? I mean, you probably had multiple pairs of shoes on.
I went through 4 pairs of shoes
for almost 2,000 miles.
2001. Yeah.
So 4 pairs, like one pair lasts like 500 miles.
Close to. Yeah, my Solomons, I changed those out in about 450 to the Topo, the 3s of these the year before. I guess the brand before, not brand, but type.
Yeah.
And those lasted me 800.
Wow.
Probably should have changed them out at 600, but
pushed it.
You knew you could get a little bit more.
Funds were tight, so it was like these could last another 100.
The funds were tight, and so were the laces.
So just keep running. And then I went to another type of Topo because I couldn't find them, and then stayed with those. So yeah, I went through 4 pairs.
Nice, yeah. It's fun to kind of get attached to like shoes and things a little bit, and then you get a little sad when you have to let it go.
I had to throw
it's
every
like something
pair
that
away.
doesn't matter or anything, and you're like, whatever. I gotta give it away.
Yeah, just like come here. I also keep you forever.
Yeah.
You carried me.
Yeah, it's your gear. It's part of you. It was a tool and a resource.
Absolutely. So it's like it. But then you learn to let go of shit because it's too much to carry.
Yeah.
But then I carried so many trinkets that I just
Did you have to ditch any gear in the hiker box or anything like that?
I ended up able to either send it home or throw it away.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely changed out a lot of gear, but not too much. Like my big stuff stayed the same. My pack, tent, my sleep system. I had to change out my sleep mat halfway through. My pack failed at 1,500 miles. Luckily, one of my Army buddies was up in Massachusetts with me, hiking, and he had his pack. And so I finished the trail with his pack.
So you do a pack swap?
Yeah, he's like, here, take it. I'm like, fuck, thanks, man.
Yeah.
What failed? Was it like the straps?
I had the Outdoor Vital Shadow Light 60, and they had a defect with it that they attempted to fix. And it ended up like the internal frame would pop out. And then it ended up just pushing a hole right through the bottom of the pack. So it was like there was no support there. And I think I hiked with it for like 200 miles with like that, and
it was starting to.
Yeah, I was having knee pain. I was having shoulder pains. And then as soon as I went to his pack, it just all
cleared up.
Yeah, ergonomics.
Yeah, and it's just
like practicing your posture. So when you're carrying these rucksacks, we could call them, right? Or hike bags,
hiking packs, or
what is a rucksack exactly?
A rucksack is the military backpack.
Okay, is that?
It's the heavy. There was a few of those out on trail.
Okay.
They didn't last long.
So do you like have to distribute the weight so you're carrying some in the front and the rear of your torso?
No.
Is that the best way? Like, what's the best way to distribute weight?
In my opinion, because there's so many opinions on this.
Yeah, and look, Discussion Combustion is full of opinions to all the listeners and viewers out there.
Yes, we're just learning.
Yeah, we are not
just
experts
all learning here.
Yes.
Don't listen to REI. Find a fellow thru hiker. How I would pack. So my pack's how I would pack it. I'm going to visualize this as I go because it's like how I process this.
You're about to get into this.
So I mean, you get your pack. I'd throw it against a tree usually. I have my pack liner, keep everything dry because backpacks aren't waterproof. Buy a pack liner. Don't buy one of them stupid rain covers. Things, just so many things. So I would put my quilt at the very bottom.
Okay.
So like, it would fill up like empty space toward the bottom, so it like makes it more solid or more solidified. And then I would put my clothes bag, which I ended up using as just my pillow also at about halfway through. My clothes bag, and then I had a Fuji camera I'd put in there with it to keep it dry. My miscellaneous bag, my puffy jacket, which is down jacket.
Keep you warm.
Yeah. And then I had my fleece pants, just like toward the end when it was getting chilly. Fleece pants, gloves, hat there, and I would close the clothes bag, or close the waterproof bag. And then it would go my food bag, because that's like the most weight I'm carrying is my food at that point.
Okay.
Pretty much the whole trail. Most weight you want in the middle of your shoulders. So the lighter stuff you want in your lower back, because when you hit your hip belt, it's supposed to transfer the weight from up here down to your hips.
Okay.
So it's just, the food bag in the middle of your back is, where you have it tightened is going to be held tighter. It's going to be more stable.
That makes sense.
And then I would put my tent on top.
On top of the bag. So
yeah, so my tent was a little over, like it's 2.1 pounds, I think.
Okay. Yeah. And how long did you do research prior to like figure out the pack setup, or was there a lot of trial and error on your end on this?
I think I watched all of YouTube.
Yeah.
All of YouTube for like 380 days. Like in between backpacking trips or buying gear, I was sitting on my ass watching YouTube.
Like how do they do it?
Yeah, like what's this?
Yeah.
What can I afford? What's this? Like, fuck that. I don't need that.
Yeah. I bet you saw so many gadgets that you're like, oh, that's a cool gadget.
It's a cool gadget.
I love gadgets.
Well, shout out to my buddy I hiked with, Gadget. I hiked with him for about 800 miles.
Gadget.
700 miles. He's a gadget guy.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'd
He's got all
hope
the
so.
fancy stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be you or Mark
Yeah.
for sure.
I mean, carry what you want, but you
Yeah.
got to carry it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do have to carry it.
What do you really need? What brings you joy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
You got to
when it
allocate
comes
those
down to
items carefully, right?
Yeah.
You don't have endless space, and so you said you want to keep it under 30 pounds or at 30 pounds ish.
I've seen people start with like 60-pound packs. I had a buddy.
That's a lot.
I had a buddy Comfort and a buddy named Daypack who, this is funny because his pack was like 50 pounds. His name was Daypack, and he had like 50-pound pack, and he summited.
Yeah.
He did every mile of the trail.
Did he shed some of that pack weight?
No,
Wow.
he kept 2 giant Nalgene bottles. Like, he's a tough ass bird.
Wow. Okay.
My buddy
Daypack.
Comfort. I mean, he carried a 1-pound chair.
Really?
Comfort.
His name was Comfort?
His name was Comfort.
Okay.
But then I've seen people with like 10-pound packs. Like one of my buddies
Yeah.
backed
going
up,
really light.
freaking went to Walmart and bought a JanSport
What?
and carried it for over half the trail.
Really?
Yeah, because he was a shelter dweller. He didn't carry
Yeah.
a shelter, so
Interesting.
You can
No
kind of
weight.
get away with the JanSport doing
Yeah.
that.
no weight.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
Wow.
And I feel like, I don't know, there's so many different ways to attack the trail then. You know, there's a lot of
It's
different ways
choose your own
to go.
adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong way.
There's
It's
no
just
right or wrong.
how you want to do it.
I mean, there was times where I had a pinched nerve in my shoulder. I couldn't walk anymore. Like,
You had to shut it down.
I sat in Warwick, New York, at the drive-in movie theater you can camp at for 3 days, just because I
You just needed a rest.
Needed a rest,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then sometimes you're just like, well, shit, I'm gonna go hike by myself now. See ya.
Yeah, because
You know, it's just-
the pack moves on, right? Is that
I mean,
how
they call it the bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bubble keeps moving. I mean, they got about three or four big, giant bubbles like that span for about a couple months. But then there's got little outlying bubbles that come in
Okay.
between.
That makes sense. And so you kind of just can pick up with a new group at any time almost.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I
Huh.
never had an issue. I never had an issue meeting people.
Yeah.
I was always just
there's
myself.
the commonality.
Yeah, the commonality of the ultimate goal, absolutely. And it hurts to see people get hurt and
Oh, I
leave.
bet.
And found out about one of my friends that I met her for 30 minutes. She's a Sobo, and she ended up breaking her ankle. You know, unfortunately.
On the trail.
Yeah, on the trail.
Ouch.
You know, and she had to get off. So it was like, but she hit me up, and I was like, yo, I talked to her about some stuff, and she's like, okay, well, maybe I have a plan now. She's gonna go finish the trail within the year mark, maybe in the spring. So
So is that kind of the challenge? Do it within a year?
Yeah, that's technically to be a through hiker. You're supposed to do all the
within a year.
miles in 1 year,
Wow.
in 365 days.
I don't think I'd have to get in shape, man. I don't know.
Nah,
Yeah,
it'll
it'd
get
be-
you in shape. It'll get you in shape.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
will.
yeah.
It will get you in shape.
yeah.
Your ego will no longer exist if you have one.
Yeah.
I should probably get out there.
If you have one, you'll realize, well, it's there, and it's pretty bad.
It's
Yeah.
going to be front and center.
I mean, it can be, but then, I mean, surround yourself around the right people.
Yep. Just like anything.
Yeah, and I realized I was one of the worst judges of character ever until I met people out there.
Interesting.
Oh yeah, it's just everyone wants the same thing.
Yep.
You know, when no one wants you to starve, everyone wants you to keep pushing. You know, everyone wants you to get back on trail.
Yeah.
So it's the community there is very uplifting.
Wow.
You know, there are negatives. There
Of course.
there are bad apples in every bunch, but it takes care of itself.
Kind of weeds itself out.
Everything does.
Everything does in one way or another.
Everything does, man. I mean, I am a firm believer that regardless of your action that you choose in life, it's going to catch up with you. Whether you're doing like a good action, like you're doing the right things, or you're doing the wrong things, like it's going to come back around.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're gonna sit there and you're gonna fuck up. Everybody fucks up. You know, I was in Missouri for a long time, and I was kind of in a low spot, like real low, like I couldn't be there anymore, and I went to Florida. So that's a great idea.
Yeah, let's go.
Ended up getting into cocaine
Okay, yeah.
real hard during COVID.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like watching documentaries on Amazon, just ripped, you know.
Like not doing much.
Not doing shit,
Yeah.
just staring at, stuff. And then I fumbled across a documentary about the Appalachian Trail.
Okay.
And I was like, well, that's pretty cool. So I watched the dude's next one. It was about the Pacific Crest Trail. Mm-hmm. And I was like, whoa. Bunch of hippies in the woods?
Yeah.
Just running around doing whatever? Hell yeah. You know, maybe one day if I get clean.
Yeah.
End up realizing I was like, oh, fuck. I'm getting too deep into this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I need to move. So I moved to Dallas.
Okay.
Got, you know,
so
isolated.
That was a good move to get out of Florida.
Yeah,
that
get out of Florida was the
right
best.
move.
Was the right move. And I talked to a couple friends there, like, you know, one day I want to do the Appalachian Trail one day. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, do it. Fuck yeah, that sounds like a cool thing. So I was like, okay. So I got clean. You know, moved to Dallas. I was drinking a lot still. Some personal issues. Whatever always pops up. You know.
We all fight our demons in different ways.
Ended up moving back to Missouri. Yep. That's when I was like, something's got to change. You know, I'd started going to therapy, immersion therapy for PTS. I don't say put the D on it because to me it's not a disorder.
Yeah.
I like that.
Me too.
There's a nonprofit that deals with that or deals with PTS and stuff like that. All Secure Foundation. And I read his book, the creator of that foundation, and he explained why. It's not a disorder; it's an injury.
Yeah.
And so PTS is how
yeah.
I refer to it.
Let's get the disorder out of there, and just since we're on it, really quick, with alcoholism too. Like I believe that I've dated alcoholics and been in some pretty shitty situations with all that. And I like what AA does, but I just have to voice it that I disagree with you are powerless to the substance. And
it's a religious approach.
Yeah, well, and look, I just don't agree with that part. Like, I feel like in removing the disorders kind of in the same realm. Like, let's change the way that we don't have to think a certain way about anything. Like, we can think our own way about things, and just because we're suggested to think a certain way doesn't mean that's how we have to actually think about stuff. And so since you're putting that little twist on that, which I agree with, and we're all consistent on that, I had to just throw that little extra in there. I had to put a little extra in there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and coming from a family with a lot of addictive, I guess, traits, it's something my family has to deal with, and I realize that. And, that's kind of why I'm making changes in my life. It's like I don't need that shit anymore.
Right.
And it's just, with PTS and traumatic brain injury and stuff like that, getting out there re-centered me, took that edge off. I don't have to be so. Let shit go.
Yeah.
If it's a tomorrow problem, it's a tomorrow problem. Enjoy your day today.
Yeah.
Go for a run, which I can't run around here, evidently, without being attacked by all your allergies.
Oh, is it like that for you?
Oh, it's bad every time.
The ragweeds and the cottonwoods.
It kills me.
Really?
Every time. I'm like, oh my God, but I got to keep running to keep in shape. So, so screw all those allergies.
Dude, running seems tough. See, I don't run. I barely jog occasionally, like during the walks. But like I could never say that I'm a runner. I'd be cheating if I said that.
I can't say I'm a runner yet. I'm getting back into it. Like I didn't run before the trail, but on trails, like I want to start doing trail running. A lot of my favorite YouTubers that I looked up to, I got to meet at Trail Days. So that was
that's awesome.
That was a really cool thing. I'm still in contact with them. One of them is a trail runner, or ultra marathoner. I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to try that one.
Yeah, like this guy's
ultra marathon.
She is a badass. She actually just set the Colorado Trail
record,
FKT, really? And then got beat again.
Wow.
And it got beat like 2 weeks later, but she killed it.
She had it.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Now, how did you land in Colorado then?
My sister's from here. My dad had 3 other kids after my mom and him split, and they lived here.
Okay.
I didn't know them until I was 25. I didn't get to meet them.
Wow.
With just issues with my mom and my dad, and how things played out. But I got to meet them at 25, actually here down in Castle Rock.
That's good that you had the reconnection, though.
Yeah. I got a phone call from a young girl saying, "Hey, I'm your sister." I go, "What?"
You're like, huh?
Come again?
So that's kind of what spurred that. And then I was stationed in Alaska at the time, and I was moving to Washington, D.C. to go be stationed at the Old Guard, which does Arlington National Cemetery, Tomb of the Unknown Soldier guys, all that stuff. I got to dress up like George Washington soldiers because I was short.
Okay.
But I got to stop in and meet them, and me and my sister kept a connection for a while. Kind of dropped off just because when I was doing my bullshit. Finally got back in touch with her, and that's kind of when I moved away from Dallas and back to Missouri and started backpacking. That was my first phone call. I was like, yo, let's go backpacking. So I would drive out here or fly out here, go do a couple days out in the woods, fail a lot. Our first trip was a complete failure. Second was a complete failure. But then
you
good
just
learning
keep at experience,
it. Yeah,
right?
I learned something every step of
Yeah.
it. And so yeah, that's, once my life blew up on trail, the only place, not only place I had to go, but the place I needed to go.
Yeah,
I needed to be with my sister.
Yeah.
From one, we're happy to have you in the state. From in Florida, when you watched that first documentary on the Appalachian Trail, to when boots hit the ground on the trail, how much time was that?
3.5 years.
Okay.
I would assume it was summer of 20.
Yeah. So that was like a big transitional growth. That was really, because once you start getting that festering idea, and then actually making it happen, for sustainable change. It takes a long time.
And realizing I kind of just went into it going, I don't know what's going to change, but I want this to change. And so much other shit changed.
Interesting.
And it was just once you realize you want change, maybe it looks different than how you see it, but you still change. With I don't know how to really put it into, but it's you go out there to I want to be a better dad. It's the most generic bullshit reason.
Yeah.
There's so much into that.
Yeah.
There's so much, realizing that, in my situation, going through divorce while on trail, or finding out stuff and whatever, I looked at my son as he's a human. I don't own him. I don't own his emotions. He can feel his own. I just need to know what they are. As long as he's happy, I'm happy. When he needs me and he's not happy, I'm there. It's just one of those looking at the world from a different perspective, of caring and going, hey, look, maybe they're just going through a bad fucking time. Give them grace. You ain't perfect. Reminding yourself that, hey, you're not fucking perfect. You failed at shit, and I've failed so many times in life.
Gonna do it again.
But I'm gonna fucking fail.
Tomorrow.
I'm gonna. It might be walking out of this room. Who knows?
Yeah.
It could be right now. Who knows?
Yeah. There's always. Yeah.
But
you never know.
It's accepting failures, learning something from it that builds up, and you realize, look, I'm happy. I'm smiling. I wake up every morning. I have something to look forward to. I have something. Tomorrow's not, given to you.
Right.
And the only easy day was yesterday.
Right.
And that's the trail taught me that. It beat me down. It humbled me. I am who I am.
Yeah.
And it was a daily reminder of mission, drive, purpose, right? Because every day there was a mission. There was a drive to get there, and there was a purpose behind it.
Yeah, and the drive would ebb and flow.
Sure.
But I mean, I do enjoy night hiking, so I would, hang out at lookouts a little too long, or
just taking the view and.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's living though, is being present in those moments. Appreciating, feeling a light breeze as the season change. You feel it on your skin.
Just this muggy humidity and just this gorgeous view, and you're just
sweating.
Yeah.
I could die right now and be happy.
Yeah. This wouldn't be too bad of a place.
Wouldn't be too bad. Right?
Yeah. So that's kind of what you. That's awesome, because focusing on the present is where sustained happiness is found for a lot of people, and I've kind of been practicing that more, and can speak to the power that it holds.
Yeah. Absolutely. And being off trail, it's not hard to find that drive and purpose. Now that I called up my buddy Guapo, who the co-host, and yo, let's do something. He's like, what are you thinking? I'm like, let's do a podcast. You know, that was our passion project, just to keep us busy. You know, he's looking for work. I'm doing some VA stuff. I'm, you know, trying to better my position for the future because that's what I want to do now.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, I just stuck in that stuck in that repeat of just toxic cycle of sabotaging myself.
It's fun to create. Like
It's
you
so
start
fun.
creating stuff. It's always new. It's always different. Like painting or, you know, even
Anything.
cooking. That's why a lot of people love to cook is
And-
because you're like creating this delicious.
And I love to cook.
There's all these different things.
And I'm learning more things how to cook. I just cooked my first vegetarian meal yesterday.
Really?
Didn't do too good, but
Good.
did okay.
Are you a vegetarian?
No.
Okay.
But when my hiking partner that I ended up finishing with, I hiked with her for about 2.5 months.
Yeah.
Over about 800 miles, and she's pescatarian, so
Okay.
she's like, you should try some vegetarian shit. I was like, okay, send me a recipe. Teach me how to do it.
Man. So there's good vegetarian food though. I've had some good
Oh,
stuff.
absolutely, it was good.
I love
You
mushrooms
know,
and stuff. Like you can come up with some cool shit.
It's out of this world.
Yeah.
I found out a new way to cook mushrooms yesterday.
Oh, I'm curious to hear about that.
I'll tell you about it off the record.
Okay.
It's a secret. Let everybody else figure it out.
Fair.
But my thing, really, when it comes down, I don't know where I was going with that. Fuck.
Well, we're talking about creativity.
Creativity.
And and the drive behind it. And
I mean,
what it does.
there's so much creativity out there.
There is.
One of my buddies, Big Z, who we just had on our show, just recorded that one. He's a street artist.
Wow.
He decided to do the trail. Showed up like $200-300 in his pocket. Like,
That's not enough.
He ended up summiting.
Yeah.
Like he didn't. I don't think he did all the miles, but I mean his travels was his travels. But he was doing painting at hostels, painting people's packs just that hustle
Wow.
to keep moving to that next town or on the trail or that's the creativity out there is just it's unstoppable.
Do you guys see like trail performers or anything like that? Like you see street performers, like people out there like trying to get some money, like entertaining people.
Not so much the entertaining portion, but usually it's it's artwork or or asking people on Instagram for money. I've done that a few times.
So
Like,
really?
hey,
had to.
If you have $5.
I was
let's
like,
put
yo,
5 on
if
it.
you can, like, I'm in town, help me out. Like, I'm broke. 'Cause
Yeah.
shit got expensive.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Really fucking quick.
You got to eat, you got to replenish, you got to get your gear. That was gonna be my next question too, is in regards to like cell phones and in contact with the world. How did that work out there?
Just say I kept the Snapchat streak alive for the whole time.
Really?
Yes.
I feel like Snap, like
I had to reset it once, but my buddy Brad and me started. We just had our 1-year Snapchat anniversary.
wow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, just sending.
Happy
one
Snap-iversary.
picture. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. He's probably gonna watch this. So
That's a big accomplishment. You guys should be proud.
Yeah, but I just kind of wanted to see if I could keep it alive the whole time.
Yeah.
And I think the only reason why I missed it was because I was, recovering from a night of trail days. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
didn't get to
happens.
send a Snapchat streak.
So would you have to like, because the service probably wasn't good on the trail unless you were close to a town, right? I mean, you mentioned.
You could get a bar or two.
Yeah.
I mean, certain sides of the mountain, certain peaks. That.
And
Type
then how
of
would you
thing.
recharge it?
I had I carried an Anchor.
Oh, okay.
20K.
Nice.
Would have gone with the bigger one if I, knew just how fast they just drain.
Yeah.
Or like you're just it's a constant learning thing on that too. Like you don't keep them on the ground when it's 40 degrees. You don't do this. You don't.
Yeah.
You'll just zap the battery, or you got to keep it on airplane mode, or you charge it during the day, not at night, because it'll just drain the whole thing because it's keeping it alive. And just those little finite details. I'm still learning.
Yeah.
I'm still learning how to be a through hiker.
There's a lot goes into it.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
But it's not that hard.
Yeah.
People overthink it.
I could see that.
I mean, and I overthink. I'm an overthinker like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
And it's learning to realize, okay, look, you're overthinking it. And having people around you be like, yo, man, you're overthinking it. Like, chill, Kenny.
Yeah.
Chill.
Yeah. So, why
Go with
is
the
it
flow.
so helpful just to hear somebody say you're overthinking this? Because it like pulls
It's
you
refreshing,
out.
yeah.
It's validating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's validating. Like, look, you have every reason to feel this way, but you're
Yeah.
overthinking it. Just let it play.
It's funny how the
Let
most
it develop.
simple solution, it's so simple and basic that like it seems counterintuitive. You're like, it's too
It's
simple.
too simple.
It's too simple.
Life is simple. Life is simple.
It's
Quit making it hard.
It was
Right.
simple. You're like, oh wow, it's simple the whole time. I've been fucking up for years.
I don't know. I think it was Neil deGrasse said like this: just to be alive is a miracle.
I do love Neil deGrasse
I like
Tyson.
that.
There's a whole lot into that one, but
Yeah.
that's pretty much the gist of that one. And I kind of took that.
Yeah.
It's like, this is my life.
This is amazing.
I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna show my kids, hey, I'm an adventurer. Like I love you, but
Yes.
I'm an adventurer.
You got to do you.
Let's go. I'm gonna do what makes me happy for once.
Yes.
And that's what everybody should be doing. It's easier said than done. I mean, like you said, it took you a long time to get to that place of like, man, I'm to time to do this challenge.
Oh, it was that, or I'd probably be in a grave.
Man.
I mean, the next 5 years I would have been in a grave if I hadn't, in my opinion.
Wow.
I mean, I was.
Well, way to pull up, man.
I had to.
Way to fucking go.
I lost too many friends.
Yeah.
I lost too many friends. I couldn't be one.
That's good, man. That's good.
It's still a daily struggle.
Of course, yeah.
It always is.
So opiates was the one for me, and huge battle and story with all that. So
well, congratulations.
I mean, I could relate, you know.
My little brother just hit a year.
Oh, awesome.
Congratulations.
Hell yeah.
Off of some stuff, so.
Hopefully my thing is because it was such like a long letting go once I realized I had the issue. It was like 5 years, like from the documentary on the couch to the trail. It was like 3 years. So for me, it was like Sunday in this my mom's driveway to taking it for the last time and absolutely hating it, and then just quitting there.
How long did that take?
That was 5 years.
That was 5 years.
Yeah, of like I have an issue and I'm trying to work on it.
I've been in relationships with I was in a relationship with someone who was definitely into opiates bad.
Yeah.
Definitely military doctors didn't give a shit back then.
Oh yeah.
They were just throwing it,
pumping it out.
And now me and her are best friends. My first wife. We don't call exes because to us we want to end the toxic.
I like that
parenting. Yeah.
So we call each other. She calls me the husband.
The husband.
And I call her my was wife.
Was wife.
Okay.
So yeah. So she's like me and her just we've come
you get
full
along.
circle. Like our divorce was disgusting.
That's true. Yeah.
And it was, and now we've both grown up and realized like, look, this is about them.
Yeah.
They're learning from us.
Yeah.
And anytime I can, show my kids, look, it's okay to just be free. You don't got to be in that 9-to-5 grind. You can find a way to do it. You can go be nomad. You can go be a digital whatever. College isn't always the answer.
I agree with that.
College is turned into something that's not about learning anymore.
It's propaganda.
And I've been to college, and it was kind of trash.
Yeah. I haven't been, so I can't speak for it, but I just observe from the sidelines, so to speak, and I just don't like what it looks like.
I don't like how it looks, but, I mean, I know it does. It's the person who is teaching it. It's the person the person who's absorbing it.
That's true.
How that changes them.
That's true.
It just depends on what state you go to, what your views are, all that stuff. I think it's the right college for everybody if they want it. But to me, life experience, life hands in the dirt, has been my route.
Yeah.
And
there's more than one way to learn.
There's one.
You don't have to go to college.
More than one way to
skin a cat.
Skin a cat.
There is.
Or as Tupac said, he's like, there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way to shoot a gat. There's more than one way to die. I guess what he's all saying.
Shout out.
Yeah, R.I.P. Tupac. It's true though, man. I mean, I think that's where we're at though now. Is I think there's such a system that's been in place, right? Like you gotta go to school and be on honor roll. Then you get your scholarship and go to college. And then
I think it's changing.
You think it's changing?
My oldest daughter just got back from a trip. I think she went to tech out. They actually sent her to some tech schools and stuff to look at. So that's they need go trades. Trades.
That's where it's at. I mean, absolutely.
I was a tradesman for I wasn't a trade. I was an apprentice in the sheet metal union before I just pulled up out of Missouri. I was like, oh, I gotta get out.
Yeah.
Ever since then, I'm just doing the VA disability thing.
Yeah.
But and also, if you're a veteran watching this, it's not that hard to file claims.
Yeah.
3 or 4 sentences on that form is going to initiate your stuff. Don't be paying these freaking lawyers and crap.
Yeah.
They're just ripping you off.
That is good advice.
That is. Well, everyone's trying to build a business. I'm screwing somebody over.
I filled out my first my second disability papers with an Adderall, a beer, and a laptop in front of a friend, and did it in about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That was when I was still in. But he's like, no, we're doing it right now.
Yeah.
So
that's good to know.
Yeah. That is. So we've covered a lot here. You know.
We've shotgun blasted.
Congratulations on fighting the fight, though, man. That's good stuff. And also the trail, fighting the urge to quit.
Oh.
Going through becoming a better father. So they covered so many things. If you had to give one piece of advice to, if everybody heard it, what would that one piece of advice be?
Be your own main character. But don't be a dick.
That's good. I like that one. That's almost like a bumper sticker.
You have to look after you.
That is good.
But you don't have to be like, "Yo, fuck you, I'm not going to do it." No, be like, look, this doesn't work out for me right now.
Yeah.
You know, rejection's rejection. You're going to get it too. You know how it feels. Be nice to people.
It's true.
It's a great way to word that, for sure, because it's going to happen.
It is.
Life's a catalog of ups and downs.
That's what you learn.
People are going to piss you off, and I'm going to piss people off. And, yeah, I think that's great advice. Be your own main character. Don't be a dick.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like the pause. You really sold that well there. I mean, but it is
I'm always
true.
posing, even if I'm not posing.
Yeah, no, that was good.
Mommy.
It's so true, though, because you have to have that self-love.
You have to.
And that's like being your own main character and, like, you know, putting yourself on a pedestal. I deserve this. I've earned the right to
not being arrogant
treat myself
about it.
good.
Yeah.
There's a fine line there.
Yeah.
There's a fine line
It's
of,
a fine
like,
line.
I deserve to be spoken to with respect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I deserve to be told hello, please, thank you. But I don't expect it. But hey, you know, how hard is that?
Yeah.
You know, if I nowadays if I have an issue with somebody, I'm like I approach it with a joke. I do. I'm like, yo, you realize I like what's up? Like you talk everything through.
Yeah.
It's just be polite. I mean, everyone wants to be so defensive. Just, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not right. Everyone's fucked up.
Yeah.
Everyone in this world is trying to figure it the fuck out.
It's true.
Every fucking step. So why stress over it?
It's a shit show,
It's
and
a shit
just
show.
Enjoy the chaos.
Just go with it.
You gotta be a master of the mayhem.
It's the first time I drove in like real traffic since I've been back. And I was just like,
Did the stress get to you? No, you're good. Oh yeah, solid that.
Like I used to be like I do still have my anxiety issues, like where it just when certain things just pop up, you're like fuck. But I had those steps, you know, from therapy, from the trail, that you know to work through those. But it still hits hard.
Yeah.
You know, and then you know I like wear my calming shirt because I've been having a couple stressful days. I want to have a good time. So
the pop color is really nice.
The calming shirt is
real
nice.
And that's kind of the thing. I mean, I had on the trail I had my nails painted and I wore flashy shit, wore short shorts. I was a character.
Fun.
I was a character.
Just having fun. Kenny Powers.
I was out there actually painting people's nails also. Because my daughter told me, my oldest daughter said, if I get good enough, I can do hers for prom.
Okay.
So I did. I would say about 200 people's nails.
Okay. Is that prom worthy now? Is that prom?
I don't know. You tell me, Savannah. Which one is it? Maybe. I do have a catalog. I got some good fancy ones. I got some.
You have to have proof.
Smorgasbord.
Picture it didn't happen.
Yeah, but that's where kind of the whole the nails painted thing started. Was a friend of mine who actually I ran into briefly for a second, and she was friends with somebody who was a big YouTuber. But she's like, "Yo, can I paint y'all's nails? Just the middle finger, so when you flip them off, it's cute." And so that's where it started, and I'm just like, oh fuck it, might as well do all of them. Yeah. And it just built from there. So I was doing kidney cures for people, and that was my way of getting to know people. Okay. Check in with people, but it didn't start out that way. That wasn't intended that way.
So then you had to carry like nail polish around.
Yeah, I carried nail polish. I had nail polish remover at one point.
You're like, this is
cotton
worth the
balls.
wait.
I had the whole thing. Yeah,
it's worth the wait.
Yeah, it was all in my fanny pack. Like, I loved it. Yeah. And then I carried my own. It had a separate fanny pack for a while because I had like 5 colors with me.
Okay.
Kenny Powers mobile nail station.
Absolutely. And Trail Days, there's going to be a booth.
Oh, that'll be fun.
I'm going to do a booth.
When's Trail Days?
The weekend before Memorial Day.
Okay.
In Damascus, Virginia. But there's a quiet area for people to camp. But then there's Tent City, which is
where the ragers go.
That's where the party is.
That's a good time. Big old fire pit. People run around dancing around it. Yeah, it's a good time.
Sounds like a lot of fun out there.
Surrounded by just great people.
Yeah. So everyone's there for the same reasons.
Everybody there, the same way.
That's epic. So I can tell you're a natural talker, and also that the podcast is going to go really. So I'm super excited about that and everything that you've accomplished, the mental growth. Where can everybody follow you? What would you want to plug here?
Oh shit! I gotta pull this shit up, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Pull it up, and we'll include it.
Yeah.
Once you have all your plugs, we'll.
Yeah, we'll throw it in the show notes.
Just scroll down, viewers and
I
listeners.
That, but
yeah.
No, that's good. Like you said, you guys are starting.
Yeah,
out.
no, he's just back from the trail. I mean,
Yeah,
you're
like I'm
pretty
just
fresh.
learning technology
You're pretty fresh
again.
right now. Yeah, we're gonna search it and throw it in there for you. We got you.
Yeah, I think it's AT Trash Talk.
AT Trash Talk. Okay.
On Instagram and YouTube.
Instagram and YouTube. That's
and TikTok, I think.
TikTok.
TikTok.
That's where the podcast is.
The podcast is on YouTube right now.
Okay.
I got to pick y'all's brains on how to put it anywhere else.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
That's exactly what I was like. I got to pick their brains about that one.
Yeah, we can talk about that once we wrap. But yeah, I mean,
it's nice.
Yeah, it's you just add layers to it. Just keep stacking it.
And we got some good guests coming up, so it's like I'm right down the road too, guys. So.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. No,
a lot more to talk about if you want to.
We'll definitely have you back on. We do a lot of repeat guests. Who knows? Maybe we'll be a guest on there.
Fuck yeah, you're more than welcome. Anytime.
We'll come on there and
Okay.
talk a little something.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, we always like being featured.
It's fun.
It's always nice.
It's fun being on that side.
It's nice to be wanted.
Yeah.
Before I said started, I'm gonna throw some shade at it.
Oh no,
podcaster right now.
Pod beef out here.
There's a little pod beef. Not really any pod beef.
Okay.
I was trying to think I was bigger than I really was. I was out of my. I was out of line.
You have to believe in yourself.
Yeah, but I was just reaching out to somebody, and
he
ended up. The guy I gave a trail name to is a section hiker. Shout out Master Splinter. He's got a YouTube channel now. He was a section hiker during that time, and he carried these 2 giant sticks, and he was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. So I call him Master Splinter, and there was 4 of us. So he calls us his degenerate Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
But the homie Kyle Hates Hiking decided to have Master Splinter on before he had Kenny Powers. So
I see.
There's some. He has a beef with Dan Becker too, so it's pretty funny.
There's always gonna be some beef out there.
It's no beef though. It's
just it's fun.
It's like I was way bigger. I thought I was way bigger than myself.
It's fun.
I mean, look,
it's just goofing around, having a good time, throwing some mud.
It is.
It's all harmless.
It's good fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, we're gonna keep this moving here.
Yeah.
As in, we're gonna keep chatting after we stop this.
Okay,
Everybody, thanks for tuning in this week on Discussion Combustion. Yeah, let's get fly. Let's get fresh.
That's the view.
Believe and achieve.
Be good to yourselves. You deserve it. Cheers.
Cheers.
That was good.